Hi guys, welcome back, week 5. Really good to see you. Today's session is about a 30-minute stretch that again I seem to gravitate towards shoulder opening poses a lot these days. I think that we really do have a tendency to walk around hunched over or to sit at a desk very frequently. So I am prioritizing that right now. Also, I just wanted to mention that although my sessions are geared at, intermediary levels, I really want to encourage the newbies to just dive in and give it a crack, because I do offer modifications, and yoga is really just about showing up, connecting your breath with your body, and not really caring too much about what you look like on the mat. As long as we're safe and giving it a go, you're still really benefiting from it. So be brave, dive in, you never know. So yeah, enjoy the flow and we'll see you at the end. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So options, either finding a nice comfortable seated position with your spine nice and tall, hands somewhere that feel comfortable, or if it's kinder on your knees and your hips, just come on down to your backs. Pop your feet as wide as your hips and allow your knees to knock in. Starting to close down your eyes wherever you are, placing your hands somewhere that allows you to connect with your body. If you're laying down, maybe popping one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. Starting to shift our gaze inwards, considering what our breath is doing. If we're breathing particularly fast or particularly slow. And then starting to take some really deep, full belly breaths, inhaling through our nostrils, filling everything on up, and then nice and slow, releasing back out through our nostrils. Couple more deep breaths like this. Really expanding those bellies, those lungs, pausing at the top and letting it all go. This really helps to slow down our blood pressure, and it tells our brains that we are in R&R mode. Maybe setting an intention for your practice if that feels good to you. Maybe it's just staying connected to your breath. Perhaps you're committing to stopping the judgmental voice at the door when you wobble or fall out of a pose. Just committing to acceptance with whatever we're working with. When you're ready, let's take one more deep belly inhale, full exhale. If you're on your back, just go ahead and start to press on up. And we're going to roll over our knees and just settle on back onto our heels, if that feels okay for you. If it's a bit much, you can always go ahead and grab a pillow and pop it under your bum to prop yourself up a little bit more. That might feel better. Or if you have a block, that can work too. starting to roll those shoulders up near our ears and down our spine, releasing any tension in our necks, crowns reaching high. And then let's inhale all hands on up to the sky. Exhale, bending the right elbow and using our left hand to encourage the right hand down your back. And on your inhale, finding some length. And on the exhale, see if you can creep those fingers down your back a little bit more. And if you'd like to release that left hand, bring it around your back. I'll just scoot around so you can see. Start to work those fingers towards your right fingers, and you might be able to connect. If you can't quite connect, that's okay. Just pop your left hand flush, palm facing outward, anywhere on your back. And whenever you are, breathing nice and broad sternums, spines nice and tall. Maybe we even look up a little bit. Full release out. Releasing the right hand down to the mat, keeping the left hand on our backs, and dropping our right ear towards our right shoulder. We should be enjoying a nice stretch up our left neck. And then let's go ahead and inhale both of our hands back on up. This time bending our left elbow, encouraging it down our backs with our right hand. Inhaling, finding some length. Exhaling, releasing that right arm, and again, just going wherever you can. Now, our backs are stacked, our joints rather are stacked really differently on both sides of our body. So on this side, my right hand can't get anywhere near my left hand, and that's totally okay. So just pop it wherever it lands. And inhaling, encouraging our elbows back, sternums broad. And then exhale, left hand comes down by our sides, and we allow our left ear to drop towards our left shoulder. Nice, guys. And then they're gently releasing that right hand, coming back to the center. And we're just gonna come into a child's pose. So either opening up our knees as wide as the mat or keeping them together. Walking our hands forward as wide as our shoulders, maybe a little wider, and allowing our hearts to sink down towards the mat. On your inhale, really find some length in that spine, looking between our hands, gripping the mat, pulling it back towards us. And then exhaling back down. Couple of deep breaths here, just enjoying the length in that spine. Hips nice and heavy, reaching towards our heels. When you're ready, pressing on up, bringing our knees directly under our hips, coming into our tabletop pose. And from here, we're going to inhale our right leg high, tucking our toes so they're dorsiflexed towards our shin, keeping our hips nice and squared. And maybe our left hand floats off the mat as well. On your next inhale, finding a little bit more length. And then exhale, curling everything and squeezing it on in. Nice. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, squeezing. One more. Inhale, lengthening. squeezing on in, letting it all go. Nice, knee and hand back to the earth. Let's do it on the other side. So inhale, left leg on up. Really strong and firm, really pressing that heel into the back wall. Our right hand might elevate off the earth as well. Inhaling, finding some length. Exhale, curling on in. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, curling. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, curl. Nice job. Popping our hand and knee back down. Now we're going to lift that right leg back up off of the mat. Only this time keeping our knee bent, heel towards the sky. And then turning our right knee out to the side and circling it down to the mat. And when it connects with the mat, bring it on back up. Core is nice and switched on, and just do this at your own pace, 4 or 5 times. 10 fingers are spread, really pushing into the earth, straight, strong arms. And then let's meet back in our tabletop. Go ahead and do it on the left side. So inhaling the left knee on up, and then circling down. Nice. Again, going as fast or as slow as feels good for your body. Couple more times. Making sure our shoulders are directly over our wrists. And then meeting back at our tabletop. Really good job, guys. So now, let's go ahead and tuck those back toes, really firm up our arms, and press on up into our high plank position. And in our plank, we really want to press through those heels, strong, straight legs, tucking our tailbone down and under. Shoulders directly over wrists, upper arms internally rotated, pressing into the earth, really strong, nice domed shoulders. And then coming to our knees or staying high, whichever you prefer, lowering down for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, coming into our baby cobra. So hands alongside our chests, elbows tight in to our sides. Feet are pressed firmly onto the top of the mat. And when you're ready, using the strength in our bellies, we're just going to lift our shoulders up off of the mat, not too high. And then exhaling back down. Let's do that twice more. Inhaling on up. Exhale back down. Last time, on up. And back down. Okay. Now staying on our bellies, we're going to do a little shoulder opening because we all need it. So, popping our left hand out to the side like a T, palms down. Right arm comes right next to our shoulders, but elbows are bent and we're on the tops of our fingertips. And just very gently, we're going to start to roll our bodies over towards the left, allowing your left cheek to touch the mat. And it might feel nice to stay here with your right foot stacked on top of your left. Otherwise, you can bend that right leg and just gently drop it back towards the floor. It may or may not touch, it's okay. Either way, just breathing here, sending some breath to that left shoulder that is no doubt feeling it. And then gently starting to come back around, Resetting in the middle, and then stretching that right hand out, nice and straight. Left fingertips, elbows bent, gently rolling on over, maybe bending that left knee and allowing it to drop back towards the mat. Staying connected to our breath. Big inhales, slow exhales, and gentle back to center. Hands alongside our chest. We're gonna tuck those back toes, strong arms, pressing on up into our tabletop. And then we're just going to go ahead and settle on back to our heels. Rolling our shoulders up and down our spine a couple more times, just getting out any kinks that are still present. And then from here, let's walk our hands out, tucking our back toes, really firing up our arms and our bellies and pressing our hips high up into the sky, coming into our downward facing dog. Breathing into this one, remembering to keep our feet hip width distance, hands as wide as our shoulders, nice bend in those knees if you need it. Tailbones reaching high, inner thighs are rotated, internally rotated, and our thighs are pressing back and up. Really strong arms. Eye gaze somewhere between your feet. Just slowly walking your hands back towards your feet. Coming into our ragdoll. So staying nice and low, connecting your chest with your thighs. Feet as wide as our hips. Hands can either land in front of you, gripping opposite elbows, wherever feels good. Allowing our spine to get really long. Maybe shaking our head yes and no. Hips reaching high. Firmly grounding into the earth through all four corners of our feet. The weight in this pose should be more in our toes than in our heels. It just activates our leg muscles a little bit more. Nice, and then releasing those hands, we're gonna walk very slowly back up to the front of the mat. Back in our downward dog. Inhaling our right leg high, nice and straight, toes towards our shins, hips are squared. And then bringing that right foot to the outside of our right hand. And then big step, left foot next to left hand. Inhaling with strength, coming on up into our modified yogi squat. So, you should be feeling this one. It can be quite intense. If it's too much for your hands to be out in front, just pop them at your heart center. Really thinking about tucking our tailbones down and under. Strong legs here. And when you're ready, we're gonna inhale, pressing on up, hands come up and over, interlacing our thumbs, maybe even leaning back a little bit, hips pressing forward to protect our lower back, and then releasing back down. Hands to heart center. Nice, guys. Just getting nice and cozy here. Nice, strong, straight spines. Shoulders away from our ears. And when you're ready, let's inhale one more time on up. Look up, reach up. Maybe interlacing our thumbs, Little back bend. And then exhaling back down. Let's do that one more time. So inhaling with strength, reaching on up. Exhale, hands to heart center, standing here. Heel toeing our feet back so they're about hip width distance. Just coming into our mountain pose. So starting to close down our eyes here if that feels okay for you, and really just get intuitive here. We're gonna build this one from the bottom up. And I know a lot of people think, oh, the mountain pose is the lazy person's pose, you're just standing there. But it's really a quite activated pose, and it helps us stack our spine and make sure that our balance and our strength is nice and aligned. So envisioning 4 corners in our feet firmly grounding down, maybe even lifting up all 10 toes and placing them down one at a time. Really lifting our knees up into our thighs, tucking our tailbones down towards our heels, zipping our belly buttons back towards our spines, thinking about really broad shoulders, nice strong sternums spread across your chest. Arms are down along our sides, thumbs externally rotated. Crown of the head reaching nice and high. And we breathe here, feeling the stability of the earth underneath our feet. And when you're ready, let's just blink those eyes open. And then inhaling our hands on up, finding some length. And then coming on down into our chair pose. So just lowering our hips down. Feet should be aligned with our hips, a little gap in between our knees so they don't knock in. Make sure you can see your toes, and just double check that your tailbones aren't sticking out too much, but rather tucked nice and under. Hands out in front if that feels okay, or at your heart center. And maybe we'll play around with coming onto our toes, and we'll start to lower, nice and slow, down to the mat. Before we sit down, staying on our toes, let's open up our knees and just allow ourselves to walk forward nice and slowly, gripping the mat with our fingertips, doming our spine, allowing our chin to sink towards the earth and our hips to get heavy and reach back towards our heels. We should be getting a really nice shoulder opening here. Nice. And starting to walk our hands on in and coming on down to our bums. Really good job. So we're going to come into our cow face pose from here. So feet hip width distance, knees bent. And then we're going to reach under our right leg with our right hand, grab that left ankle, just bring it as close to your right hip as possible. Now, you might stay here. This might feel great. Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you to bring your right foot on over next to your left thigh. And either hang out here, getting nice and tall, or if it feels okay, bringing that left foot back towards your hips so your knees are stacked one on top of the other. I'll just turn so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And feet, toes on both feet are flexed towards our shins to protect our knees. And we really want to think about grounding both sit bones evenly into the earth here. And that's totally okay if your feet aren't quite where mine are, if your Right knee is up a little bit. That's okay, you're still getting a really nice stretch. So just go wherever your body feels best. And then we're gonna inhale our hands on up. Exhale, bending that right elbow again like we did at the beginning of class. And just encourage those right fingertips down our spine. Releasing that left hand if that feels okay. And trying to seek out those right fingertips. And again, if they don't quite connect, just pop your hand on your back, palm out. Finding some length on your inhale, staying here, or option to drop your heart forward on your exhale. And you should be feeling a really nice stretch up the outside of that right leg. Nice, and then coming back up, unwinding, dropping our weight behind us into our hands, starting to uncurl, and then let's do that again on the other side. So this time, taking our left hand, reaching under our left leg, grabbing our right ankle, bringing it next to our left hip, left foot over right thigh. And again, staying nice and tall, hugging that knee into your chest. Otherwise, if your hips are open enough, you can scooch that left foot back towards your hip, stacking those knees, finding some length. Inhaling our hands back on up. And then exhale, let's bend the left elbow this time. Working our left fingers towards the center of our back. Releasing that right hand, and again, just seeing if we can get anywhere near our fingertips. Not a problem if you're miles out. It's totally okay, just as long as you're getting a stretch, that's all that matters. And we're doing it safely. And then when you're ready, let's start to unwind. Nice, guys. Hands behind us, weight shifts back, untangling our legs, and then just slowly starting to make our way onto our backs. And when we get there, bringing our knees up towards our chest, either together or apart. Just have a little rock side to side, keeping that lower back flush on the earth. And then coming into a chair pose, like an air chair. Crossing the right leg over the left, hands out like a T, palms up, and then gently dropping those knees over to the left side. And they might come all the way down to the earth, they might not. Option to place your left hand on top of your right knee. And on your inhales, we look for length in that spine. And on the exhale, maybe we move into a little bit of a deeper twist. Either eye gaze at the ceiling, maybe over at your right hand. Just going wherever feels nice for your neck. One more deep inhale. Full exhale. And then coming back to center, nice and slow, untangling those legs. This time, left leg over right. And gently dropping those knees over to the right side. Maybe your right hand connects with the outside of that left knee. And on the inhales, finding length. On the exhale, pressing the right hand into the knee and the knee back into the hand. So you get a really nice twist. Nice. Let's start to come back to center. Giving ourselves a big squeeze on in. Big, big, big squeeze. Thank you, body, for showing up and allowing us to move like we do. And then full release, Shavasana, our final resting pose. Options here, either feet out straight, just allowing your legs to flop wherever they may, palms upright along your sides. Sometimes it can feel really nice to bring your hands above your head and grip opposite elbows with your opposite hands. Just get a little bit more shoulder opening. Wherever you are, finding your breath, reconnecting, enjoying the feeling of all those happy cells running around your body, saying thank you for the oxygen. And while you enjoy breathing here for the next couple of minutes or so, I'm going to read to you a quote that I came across during the week and I thought you might enjoy reflecting on. It was actually the article that I pulled the quote from was sent to me from my dear friend Kathy, who's also part of our yogi crew. So thank you, Kathy, for sharing. The article was written by a professor of political science at the University of Toronto. Her name is Aisha Ahmad. And the article is about taking space and time to feel into the current circumstances we're working with. To not rush our feelings, to not, expect anything of ourselves that doesn't unravel or develop naturally, and to fully embrace the process that is moving into a world that we are unfamiliar with. So the quote goes like this: "Now more than ever, we must abandon the performance and embrace the authentic. Our essential mental shifts require humility and patience. Focus on real internal change. These human transformations will be honest, raw, ugly, hopeful, frustrated, beautiful, and divine. Be slow. May this tragedy tear down our faulty assumptions and give us the courage of bold new ideas." If anyone wants to read the full article, feel free to leave a note under this video and I will happily send it to you. So when you're ready, let's start to wiggle our fingers and toes, bringing some movement back into our bodies, bringing our attention back into the room. And just start to press on up into a comfortable seated position. With our eyes still closed down, placing our hands wherever feels nice, maybe at your heart center, cupped in your laps. Let's finish our practice by taking a deep, full belly breath in, completely filling up lungs, bellies, holding at the top, and then letting it all go. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste. Nice job working through that flow. So fun practicing with you guys. To despite the distance. I just wanted to remind you that I'm posting twice a week now. On Mondays, our regular flow comes out, but I'm also releasing a 10-minute top-up, which is generally focused on something that's good for our hearts and souls. One week I did chair yoga for folks that don't easily get down on the mat and roll around. And last week I did a guided meditation. I hope that you check them out and enjoy. And also, I started a Facebook group, which is going strong, so feel free to jump on there and like and subscribe. Thanks so much, guys. Enjoy your week. Hello. Hey, sexy. Okay, let's do that again.